Many thanks for all your comments. I wanted to pick up one by Russell Francis. And Russell Francis says that reality TV is the worst concept ever conceived in the history of television production. Well, television production hasn't been going for very long. So it's a small blip if it is the worst concept, but I don't believe it is at all. Reality TV is a way to democratize television in perhaps the way that it was originally intended. Television comes into our homes, and our homes should be able to equally merge into television, not in some sort of 1984 predatory way, but in a way that allows us to contribute to the entertainment. And almost from the very beginning of popular television, there were audiences involved in trying to contribute to that entertainment, whether these were studio audiences or whether these were some sort of phone-ins. And reality TV, at its best, is a way to harness that audience interest. Now, the problem is that the way it's being done is in a deeply controlled and manipulative process. So first of all, there is the illusion, the deceit, that ordinary people can get involved in reality TV shows. That's almost always a lie. The people who are on reality TV shows are people like me who were called up out of the blue on the street. I was in a rainy Cambridge at the time when I was telephoned and asked if I would be on a program called The Circle. I said yes, because I had a month free. Everything happened so fast, it was impossible to really take stock. I was told not to share this information with anybody, including my close family. And I pretty well took that seriously. I should not have done. I should have got significantly more advice. And even if I got that advice, I'm not sure the people that I would have been asking would have been able to give me the sort of sound advice that I needed, because of the way in which reality TV has harnessed the tabloid newspapers, and together they have concocted a lie. And that lie is that the worst that can happen in reality TV is that you get a bad edit. That is simply a lie. There are bad edits. There are many people who've got bad edits, and the majority of people who have spoken out against reality TV are people who have got sour grapes because they didn't come off terribly well on television, and perhaps they had some naive idea that they were the best thing since sliced bread, and they really weren't. It is a way of ramming your face against reality. Equally, production does have a way of making people who are perfectly ordinary individuals into, quote, villains, because they've already got a story to tell and they're determined to tell that story, no matter who they walk over. The real problem with reality TV, and the edit is an aspect of this, or a consequence of this, just one of many, is the power that it gives to production and to editors. Now, we know that in feature films, it's the editor who makes the film. So too, it's the editor and the producer who make the reality TV show, and they can change any story. But more than that, because they are dealing with individuals who have surrendered their agency to the television company, they continue to manipulate and to produce these individuals long after the cameras have stopped rolling. And that is where the problem lies, and that is what the government failed to look into, because it truncated its committee hearings after only listening to what producers had to say. And the result was it gave production even more control than it has now. It's producers' jobs now to produce and oversee psychiatric support afterwards. Well, anybody who goes onto a reality TV show, particularly the more intense reality TV shows that go on for a month or so, where you are trapped in one particular location, as I was, are subjected to a form of R21 technique. R21 technique is something devised by the British and Israeli army to condition people to withstand torture. And it's something that is done very carefully under psychological support, probably for a short space of time, probably for a weekend. People have psychiatric support before and after and during the process, because it's extremely stressful. And the process is designed to make the victim compliant. Not only is this exactly what happens in the R21 technique, it's exactly what happens to people, as a rule, who are about to be tortured. I know my partner was tortured. And when I came out of the circle, my partner said to me, "Oh, well, that all sounds very much like what happened to me." This is about withdrawing your agency. It's about withdrawing heat, lighting, controlling when you go to bed, controlling when you eat, voices from above telling you exactly what to do and when to do it, zingy drawings all over the place as if you're in some sort of World War I naval camouflage unit, extraordinary changes to your routine. So you're working at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. You're sleeping during the early part of the day. And you have no idea what time it is and so on. Heat and I don't need to go into all these, but these things condition you. And after only a few days, you are so compliant, you will do whatever they say. I was so compliant after I came out of the show I was in that I was quite happily giving my telephone number to people on the street, and my friends were slightly shocked. If somebody asked me a question, I would give them a truthful answer because I had been so conditioned. Of course, it's lethal for real life. Very good for television. And reality TV is a way to devise a television program with drama that is just as compelling as, let's say, EastEnders or Hollyoaks or so on. Why? Because if you get the right group of people together, they're likely to spark and create their own drama. What this means is that you don't need to employ a scriptwriter, though I think there probably are scripts that are lying underneath these things, and the team of producers wait until you say the right lines. In the case of The Circle, they could completely contain us because one person was not actively interacting with another in a physical space. So we could be edited to their heart's content. In something like Big Brother, you've got that problem where people do actually get engaged in real life, and then all manner of chaos can occur. You can't necessarily follow the script you've got on paper. But people can be prompted and moved by characters called Voice of God. And it is a way to create drama. I think it's a shame that real scriptwriters and real actors are therefore being put out of a job. And I think that is a reason why Equity should get involved. Equity is too grand to get involved. Whatever, general secretary or whatever he's called now, he sounds like something out of a communist regime, didn't want to get involved in this story when I brought it to him a couple of years ago. He's young, he doesn't really know what he's doing, but I hope he will reflect on this as time goes by, because this reality TV is putting people in the entertainment industry out of work. It's also potentially giving people work. And if we looked upon all the positives, there are many of them. So that's why I come back to Russell Francis and I say, actually, you're wrong. Reality TV is not the worst concept. It's just been badly applied, really badly applied, and I think applied with sinister overtones. To date, I've counted 52 people who have died, who have killed themselves because of reality TV, because of involvement in reality TV. I can't think of any other industry that is still going strong without proper supervision, because with that number of deaths in such a short space of time. Reality TV has only been going for about 20 years. It's a global phenomenon, and it's causing havoc across the globe. Wherever it occurs, there are deaths. Not only deaths, but serious illness and serious stress. I developed cancer shortly after coming out of a reality TV show. I'd already said in, I think, a newspaper article for The Independent that this was the most stressful 18 months of my life following leaving the show because of the level of manipulation that I felt I was under. And then I had cancer. When the cancer was removed, when the tumor was removed, it was a T3 cancer, so quite serious. The consultant said, "Oh, it's about 18 months old." It looked like a giant carrot. And I think That's not a legal statement, really. It convinces me that there is a link between my illness and the reality TV show. And I would do anything to be involved in reality TV to make sure it's safer. And if I can't be, then I would do anything to try and work from outside to make sure it's safer, or, if necessary, make sure it's stopped. But it cannot continue as it's going at the moment. And more than that, its sister, which is sofa sleaze, the sort of thing that you get with This Morning and Phillip Schofield, it has its own problems that are very similar. It's all about exploiting individuals for the sake of the television show. And it's interesting that the two programs which were identified as problematic by the government and which form the basis of the committee meeting, Love Island and the Jeremy Kyle Show, were part of ITV, as indeed is This Morning, which is now the next disaster. So I think ITV needs to look at itself very carefully. I think the DCMS needs to look at itself very carefully and wonder why it's failed, and why the Secretaries of State, I think there's 4 of them, have been so dismissive of this issue. Oliver Dowden, Nadine Dorries, Michelle Donnellan, and Lucy Fraser. All of them useless.